So hi, how are you? My name is Lisbeth Abreu. The name and title of my design is Powerful Sensuality. And when we're talking about the inspirations for designing the theme this year, I really wanted to focus on circular and zero waste fashion. It's one of my main inspirations. I really wanted to utilize all the fabrics so that even if the look was complete, it still had an area where it could be even recreated and turned into new one more time before it was recycled. I really wanted my garment to utilize also all the scraps. So any fabrics that I cut, I would also reuse those scraps and use them to put into another part of the garment and make it again new and fresh and utilize everything. Another inspiration that also was very dear to me, this is more in relation to the mood board, is just my personal inspiration with the woman in my family. I am a first generation American, and my family, especially the women in my family, have really been the ones that have fought for the opportunities that I have today to come to this country and to really give me everything that I need to succeed. And that's kind of where powerful sensuality came from because I really wanted to, show off being a woman as obviously beautiful and sensual, but also show how women can be so powerful and strong and really do things and make things happen. So that's my other inspiration. As for the color palette for my garment, I really wanted to again lean into that like powerful and sensual energy. So I use like a lot of like blacks, like for latex and power, and then wines and pinks for more of like that sensual and feminine touch. And then of course white again to just emphasize and like blend all the colors together. Um, I think for the special color processes that I used, um, I did hand dye, I did regular dye and natural dye. So I took all the scraps that I mentioned before of cutting the main fabrics, and I took all those scraps and I used a mixture of raspberry tea for one of the regular dyes, and then another wine color for the second dye. I was also very mindful of keeping the dyes minimal, the ones that weren't natural, just because I wanted it to still be environmentally friendly and, still be able to be recreated. So I try to play into the colors that the fabrics already had. So, the pinks, I try to like play into that and just draw out different shades of pink or darker shades of the same color. And I also just tried to keep some of the fabrics natural just so that I wouldn't have to use so many dyes like the lace or certain parts of the pink stretch fabrics that were the pajamas. So that was my process when I was going into the color processes. And then from the elements that I used in the box, I used everything. I really wanted to challenge myself to use all of the fabrics and use them in a way that would really highlight and help the design. So I used the latex for the cup to really like give off that powerful and like, like you're ready to take on something very strong. And then I use for the fabric flowers, I use those scraps. So I cut out little fabric flowers. I die cut them actually. I'll talk about that in a second. And then I use those fabric flowers and scraps, and I use them from all the different types of fabrics that I used from before. And then I use like specific fabrics like the cotton as a stabilizer for the center part and also for the panty just to give breathability. So I really try to keep in mind all the fabrics that I were using and what purpose they could be used so that the garment could be even better and more efficient when you're wearing it, but also look really good. And then for the special construction techniques that I used, like I said before, I did cut each individual flower, but before that, I digitally designed each flower and then I programmed it into a die cutting machine. And I used those scraps of fabric and I, put them into the die cutting machine, got the little specific flowers, and then I hand gathered them and stitched them on to the lace part of the bodice. I really wanted to hand stitch those on also specifically because I wanted them to be able to be taken off if the user really wanted to. That way it could be repurposed, like I said before. You take off the flowers and you can put them in a different way. You can use different colors that you liked from the flowers, and you can even use the lace underneath to create something new. So I wanted it all to be kind of like a work in progress, even if it was finished. That way you still have more opportunities with the same garment. And then, just to talk about the parts of my garment, there's first the latex cup, which is what holds the bra, like the main part of the bra. And then there's a lace overlay, which is just helps with the durability and like more layering for the flowers. Then there's a cotton center on the inside to help with the stability of the inside piece. And then there's a lace base for the band. That's just to help again with the flowers and to give it more of like a sensual feel that you can see through the skin. And then there's the flowers on top, which I wanted to contrast the powerful latex kind of cup, so it gives more of like an air of femininity. And then lastly, just to talk about myself and my interests for the future. I've been sewing and designing for 13 years. It's a passion that I've also learned from the women in my family. My grandmother is a seamstress, so I've been learning for quite a long time since I was 8. And then I've also been doing fashion illustration for about 6 years, and that's also been just to help with designing and something I'm passionate about. As of right now, I'm an eighth semester student at FIT, and I am in special occasion. But something that is really surprising is I've been having a growing passion for apparel design in in the intimates area. So I really want to see myself potentially working in the future in intimates and maybe bringing a little bit of special occasion kind of touch to a more intimates kind of arena when it comes to design. So that's my future plans, definitely. Thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you so much for your consideration. Um, and I hope to hear back from you guys soon. Bye.